Welcome back into Back of the Net. I am your host, as always, Nick Burt, back after a short hiatus. If you watched yesterday's Top of the Perch video, you heard the whole explanation, but just was difficult to keep it going well over in Europe, and then coming back, having, a cold basically because of airplanes. Shout out airplanes. Obviously, voice still not 100% there. Hopefully we can get through this show without any major interruptions. Let's just get straight into the weekend that was in Europe. Obviously, we didn't preview it, but we can still review it. There are no laws against it. First game was Crystal Palace 0, Fulham 0. I was quite shocked by this result. This felt like a scoring draw type game. I figured somebody would have got the back of the net. I figured somebody would have got the back of the net multiple times, but this ends up being a 0-0 draw. Wolves won, Luton Town won. This is a game I would have expected to be a scoreless draw, and it ends up being a scoring draw. Luton Town get their first points in the Premier League this season, which means every team at least has 1 point. The three teams that only have 1 point are the recently promoted sides, so obviously discussions already happening. Are these the worst three promoted sides of all time? I don't think so, but I mean, there's still a long way to go. I think they're two of the worst. I still think Burnley can figure out a way out of this, but the Sheffield United, who we'll get to later, and Luton Town might be two of the worst sides the Premier League has ever seen. Manchester City 2, Nottingham Forest 0. I figured City would have won this game by more than 2. This felt like a game they win like 4 or 5-0. Instead, it's only 2. Erling Haaland gets a goal like he usually does. I believe I saw a stat this afternoon that Erling Haaland has 44 goals in since the 2022-23 season. So obviously the season that he joined Manchester City, and Chelsea as a club have 43 goals total in that same time span. That is an outstanding number, just showing how insane of a freak Erling Haaland is and how bad Chelsea are at this point. Everton, they get their first win of the season, their first 3 points of the season, as they go out on the road at Brentford and get the 3 points, winning 3-1. It was the best Everton performance I've seen in a long time. It seems like it's been forever since they've actually done that. I mean, that was very unexpected, I would say. I think Brentford have played some decent football this year, and then obviously going to lose to one of the worst teams in the calendar year. Kind of shocking, I would say. Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. Manchester United get a win that it was deserved, but was it a, indicative performance of what they showed? Not really. It wasn't convincing of anything. I still don't think they're going to be that good this year. I don't think they're going to be good this year. I think they're still going to really struggle, just given the way that they've started out this season. Moving on to Sunday, Arsenal 2, Tottenham 2. You can go check out Top of the Perch for all the thoughts on that game. Brighton put up 3 against Bournemouth, get the victory, a 3-1 victory that is. Coming off that Europa League loss to AEK Athens, this is more of a Brighton performance that I would have expected. I expected that on Thursday, and Athens just kept coming back, and they just didn't have any answers for them. So this is a more typical Brighton performance from them. Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 1. The Chelsea, whatever you want to call this, disaster spell continues. Like I said, one man has more goals than them in a season and a few games, obviously, just getting into the season. That's just showing how bad they are. Statistically, they are the worst team in the calendar year of 2023 in the Premier League, so that's also saying something. They're just, not great at all. Liverpool get 2 late-ish goals to get past West Ham United. They continue their unbeaten start to the season. And then Newcastle put up 8 against Sheffield United. Like I kind of mentioned earlier, Sheffield United look like one of the worst teams the Premier League has ever seen. They went up against a Newcastle side with their attacking didn't look great in this game, at least on paper. It didn't look like it was going to be great. They come out, they put up 8 goals. And it's 8 goals from 8 different players too, which is something I feel like is unheard of. If you're putting up, 7, 8, 9, somebody at least is getting a brace in there, most likely a hat trick. And for it to be 8 different players, I think that's more telling of this game than not, I guess. So that is the Premier League for the weekend that was. Let's check out Spain and what happened in La Liga. Bilbao got a 2-0 win on the road against Deportivo Alvarez. Granollers continues their, pretty good, I would say, they're second in the table. Pretty good start to the season with a 5-3 victory against Mallorca. Osasuna and Sevilla go to a 0-0 draw. What probably was the game of the weekend, Barcelona come from 2-0 down to defeat Celta Vigo 3-2. A Robert Lewandowski 4-minute brace. First goal was in the 81st. Second goal was in the 85th. A Joao Canseco goal in the 89th. Get them the 3-2 victory. Insane comeback just within a 10-minute period. They went from being 2-0 down to 3-2 up. Insane. Almeria, a 2-2 draw against Valencia. Moving on to Sunday, Real Sociedad, I should say, because it's not Sociedad. It's just, with the head cold, things aren't being pronounced as I would like them to, but you get it. They get a 4-3 victory against Getafe. That was quite a game to watch. Getafe, believe, got the third goal in stoppage time. I believe it was 90+1 or 90+2. They were starting to put the pressure on for that fourth goal that would have got us to a draw. Just couldn't get it there. Las Palmas get a 1-0 victory against Granada. Real Betis draw with Cádiz 1-1. And then in the Madrid derby, it is Atletico Madrid walking away with the bragging rights 3-1. One of the more disastrous performances I've seen from a Carlo Ancelotti team in his, return to the Bernabeu. That was just ugly from them. I should go back to Las Palmas game. Also has an argument for being that game of the weekend. That 1-0 victory, that goal was in the 92nd minute. So, it's not as exciting as a 2-0 comeback in 10 minutes, but it's still a very late goal and could, be seen as a game of the weekend. So, moving on, we'll check in on Germany. US Stuttgart get a 3-1 victory against Darmstadt. Stuttgart, their beginning of the season, they're putting up a lot of goals. Something that we really haven't seen from them in a long time. I can't fault them. They look like a quite good squad right now. The real question is, can they just keep it up going throughout the season? Because obviously we are just in the beginning stages of this season. I mean, it's only match week 5 in the Bundesliga. So, but for Stuttgart, like I said, it's a good start for them. I think they currently sit after this weekend third in the table. They're 1 point back of first place. Like I said, it's anything that they could have asked for to start the season. Augsburg get a 2-1 victory against Mainz. Harry Kane nets his first hat trick for Bayern Munich in a 7-0 thrashing of Bochum. Dortmund walk away with a 1-0 victory against Wolfsburg. That game was much closer than I figured. Dortmund just haven't looked up to it at all this year. They just really seem to be struggling right now. Mönchengladbach fall at home to RB Leipzig, 1-0. This is another game I kind of would have expected RB Leipzig to kind of run away with this one, but a 1-0 victory still gets them to the 3 points. Union Berlin fall 2-0 at home to Hoffenheim. Feel like that's a game they probably shouldn't be dropping right now, but they do. Just not a good performance at the Stadion Alder for Serie on Saturday for them. Then Werder Bremen get a late come-from-behind victory over FC Köln, a 2-1 victory that is for them. Bayer Leverkusen just run all over Heidenheim, a 4-1 victory there. I believe that currently sits them second in the table right now. They're only in second on goal difference right now to, of course, Bayern Munich. And then we had a 0-0 draw between Frankfurt and Freiburg, a game where there was nothing really to write home about in that one. So given that, we'll move on to our final, as always, Serie, maybe one of the most competitive leagues table-wise and, competitively in Europe. You had Sassuolo and Frosinone Calico with a 1-1 draw. Lecce and Genoa, Lecce comes away with the 1-0 victory there. AC Milan only get a 1-0 victory against Hellas Verona. Kind of would have expected AC Milan to run away with that one, but once again, they don't. A disaster for Juventus as they lose on the road to Sassuolo 4-2 in just what was a ugly game for Juventus from start to finish. It just seemed mistake after mistake led them just to getting worse and worse, and it ends up with them dropping this game 4-2. Lazio, obviously we were very worried about them to start the season. They end up with a 1-1 draw at home against Monza. Inter Milan get a 1-0 victory on the road at Empoli. Atalanta get a 2-0 victory at home against Cagliari. Udinese fall at home to Fiorentina 2-0. The defending Scudetto winners, Napoli, go on the road to Bologna. They come away with a 0-0 draw. Still, this has been not a great start at all for Napoli. You saw Osimhen get he got subbed off in this game, and you could see the frustration from him because, well, one, I'm pretty sure he was frustrated that he was getting subbed off, but then also just this season has not started the way that, Napoli fans would like it to. I feel like they keep dropping points constantly, and that can't be good for the club. And then finally, AS Roma's start to the season, kind of like Napoli. It's rocky, to say the least. They get a 1-1 draw at Torino. Jose Mourinho's men don't come away with the win for what seems like the 8th or 9th time this year, even though it's only match week 5. Roma has really struggled to start this season, and I would not have expected that under Jose Mourinho. So given that is going to be it for this episode of Back to the Net. Hopefully by Friday, when we're doing a match weekend preview. The everything is cleared up. We can get more into this. I kind of want to keep this short just because obviously all of this. So thank you so much for tuning in for this short recap. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you stumbled across this video, hit like, hit subscribe, tell anybody you know about it. And we will be back on Friday for another episode of Back of the Net, but there will be other videos on this channel in between there, so make sure you stay tuned for that.